Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, welcome back to another Miniature Building Authority terrain review. If you are subscribed to the channel, you probably know that the focus of several of my more recent videos have been on this new line of 3D printed buildings from Miniature Building Authority and how absolutely obsessed I've been with them. They are done in this medieval stone Tudor with these blue roofs and moss and vines covering them, and it just gives this fantastic look, and they all look cohesive on the table together. And folks, we have 5 new buildings to cover that just arrived recently, and I know you're looking at 3 right now. You're saying, where are the other 2? They're going to be in their own video, but we are going to do a little sneak peek. Yes, I mean, look at the size of this building. I want to get in a little bit close so that you can see these figures. These are 28 mil figures, and yet they are absolutely dwarfed by the size of that building. But you think that building's big? Take a peek over here. Look at the detail and size of this. Are you kidding me? My gosh. So those two, keep an eye out on the channel for video reviews of those. We are going to start things off, however, with a review of these 3 buildings. And if it was any other day, these 3 buildings would be the star of the show, because these are 3 more fantastic additions in this new line of buildings that Miniature Building Authority has released. So let's kick things off with this Blacksmith. This was one that I wasn't even sure I was even going to pick up, only because I was unaware of it until Miniature Building Authority reached out and let me know that, hey, Rick, we have a new Blacksmith. And actually, they weren't sure if I'd be interested in it because of, I do have a couple other Blacksmiths. But folks, as I said to them, I'm always in the market for a new Blacksmith, so I absolutely picked up this. It comes with accessories, which we're going to take a peek at as well. Let's get a figure over here to show the scale of the building, and that the building itself is still a decent sized building, right? We got multiple stories here. All right, so this is product ID MBAL-182. Probably going to mispronounce this. Pratherin Blacksmith with accessories. And let's start right here, right at the base, right at the bottom. All right, so let's take a look at some of these accessories, because these are fantastic, and you can use these in any of your other buildings as well. I'm not sure. I think this may actually be my first, at least that I can recall, kind of stone sharpening wheel. So that's fantastic. We also have, of course, what every blacksmith's going to need, an anvil. We have a workbench with tools, which absolutely looks crisp and fantastic. But this is probably one of my favorite, more unique piece. A water bucket with the freshly forged blade sticking out of it. That is awesome. So you get those 4 accessories, and then now let's take a closer look at the building itself. So on the lower level, well, let's start up top and we'll work our way down, because if you know Miniature Building Authority, you know you can get into every floor, every story of the building. So let's start by taking off the roof and getting a close view inside. So yes, the interiors of all of these buildings are also going to be painted. And as you can see, the windows, you can actually see through that kind of lattice work on the window. And so you just kind of have potentially his bedroom up top, his living quarter, the blacksmith's living quarters up top. And let's also do kind of a 360. I probably should have done that before we took the roof off, but that's okay. As you can see, the detail work around the outside looks absolutely fantastic. And then lifting off this next layer, we have a better look at what is down below, which, as you can see here, is a fireplace where the forge is, and the I can't quite recall what that specific piece of blacksmith equipment is. It's on the tip of my tongue. The bellows, is that what it is? But you have all this nice room down here, as you can see with a figure. There's plenty of room for figures down there. And then you also have a doorway leading into, which again, this door actually works. Swinging hinge door. And inside here, if the upstairs wasn't his living quarters, maybe the downstairs is, but I almost like to think that maybe this is the interior of his shop. So you can imagine putting in some decor pieces of some weapon racks and maybe a table or a desk in there with his information on it. So that is the blacksmith. And I think that this is a fantastic addition to any city, whether or not you're collecting this specific line or not, because it just has a very cool vibe to it, right? I love the lanterns by the doorways. I love the rustic kind of wood. And again, as always with this line, these blue roofs. These blue roofs with the kind of the moss look to them. So yeah, absolutely love this blacksmith. So glad that I ended up picking it up. I'm going to grab this figure out of here because we're going to need him. But the rest of these accessories that came along with it too. I love when these buildings come with accessories. So that was the blacksmith. All right, next up, we'll leave the ale house, spoiler, for later. Let's now move on to let me get my tripod here. Let's move on to the Gracewindale Blossom Cottage. This is item MBAL 181. And I do have a number of cottages, but you can never have too many, right? You need private residences in your towns. And this is an absolutely gorgeous one. Not only does it still carry over that blue roof theme with all and I should say, in case you couldn't tell, the green like moss work and stuff isn't paint. That is actual flocking. So this has been flocked with that. But I love the flower box in the window. I love the stonework around the doorway. This chimney with a little alcove with a potted plant in there. How cool is that? So this is a fantastic, handsome little cottage here. But as always, and putting a figure next to the door, as you can see, this is still a sizable building, right? Like any other time, this would be a decent sized building if we didn't have a huge, literally like 7-story tower just a foot off to the side. Let's look inside. Yes, because we do have multiple rooms in here. And this is another one where the interior looks so good. So as you can see, there's the doorway in. You can see kind of the worn wooden floors. I just love how worn everything looks. The finish detail on this is so nice. I want to try to get the light in there so you can see the interior of the fireplace over there. And then you do have a doorway into this next room. So this little cottage is fully fleshed out. You can have a seating area, you can have a little kitchen, a dining room area, and then a bedroom off to the side. I think this is absolutely fantastic. Or maybe you could even consider this a little shop, and you could have maybe some items for sale inside there, and then the private residence off to the side. So however you decide to use this building, you're not going to regret picking one of these up for yourself, because this is absolutely fantastic. And I do want to be transparent about the prices. I totally forgot. The Blacksmith with accessories, $149.95. The Gracewindale Blossom Cottage, $124.95. Full disclosure though, when I picked these up, they were running, was it a Father's Day sale? It was some kind of sale where everything was 15% off. So I was able to take advantage of that. And I think they do offer free shipping over a certain threshold. And obviously with, oh my gosh, with all this stuff, it definitely met that threshold. I believe they still offer that. Don't quote me on that. But either way, that was the Gracewindale Blossom Cottage. Let's take a look at this third and final building. And again, folks, don't forget to check out the channel for the full video reviews of each of these. Every single floor lifts off. How many floors is this tower? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say 7. I would say 7 floors to lift off. That's absolutely nuts. But what else is nuts is the detail on this ale house. All right, folks. This building I am so excited about because this is very cool. You're always going to need a tavern. You're always going to need some kind of an inn. This is the Gorenstadt Ale Shack. This is product ID DIR368, and this was $149.95. And let's take a peek at this ale shack. Let's do the full 360 first. As you can see, there is a dwelling up top, and already you're kind of peeking underneath there. Yeah, all of the bartending, all the drinking happens in that kind of open air area. So this is a very unique style ale house, which I absolutely love. You could either have the ale master, the brew master, be upstairs with their residents upstairs, or maybe you subdivide that into rooms for an inn. So let's take a peek with the roof off. Boop. And as you can see inside of here as well, fully detailed as always. The door absolutely works. The windows you can actually see out of. And there's so much room up here with a fireplace. And I actually brought some accessories. And of course, I totally forgot about that because I would love to be able to show some of the different ways that you can actually trick this thing out. So, for example, let's say you did want it to be the brewmaster's little dwelling upstairs, so you can add some decor up there for that. Maybe when it rains, the upstairs is actually also part of the tavern, and so you're actually serving drinks on the inside as well. Maybe the upstairs is the brew house, and so you are going to be actually brewing the mead or ale or what have you upstairs. So that's just fantastic. These are all little Miniature Building Authority little accessories from various sets. All right, but the sweetest part of all, folks, is when you lift this floor off. And down below, here we have, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I can't just not do this because I have this orc bartender. Oh, and I need to grab her too because she's just too perfect for this scene. Oh, I should have had these guys ready. But look at this. This is going to make it all so much worthwhile. Oh my gosh. Here we go, folks. This is the ale house. Look how sweet it looks underneath. When you lift that floor off, look at the detail, the stools, the tables, but look at that bar. Look at all the bottles, the keg, the tray of drinks there, the barrel behind the counter. You have all these little, drawers and things behind the counter. Oh my gosh. You could have a whole Cheers thing going. You could have a whole medieval Cheers sitcom starring right here in your town. And I already had a little adventurer there, but maybe he pulls up to the bar, kicks that stool out of the way, and he's like, hey, oh my gosh, how sweet is that? Folks, if that scene right there doesn't start evoking some kind of, feelings for you. I mean, that is just so sweet. And then, of course, on the inside here, interior of this room as well, maybe this is a storage room. Maybe this is where the brewing takes place, what have you. But fully stone detailed with a fireplace there as well. I just think this looks so cool. I could stare at this for hours. Look at all the little details. So that is that, folks. That is the Gorenstadt Ale Shack. And that is our 3 buildings to kind of kick things off here. These have little nubs where you can kind of line up so that things don't kind of slide around there. Perfect. As you put the roof and stuff back on. If I have this the right way. All right. Perfect. So, Ale House, Blossom Cottage, and of course, the Blacksmith. Just 3 fantastic new buildings to add to your miniature building authority collection. I absolutely love them. All right, folks, that'll do it for this video. Stay tuned for videos on these 2 behemoths. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. And until next time.